Great. So I am just going to go ahead and call down the list for introductions. So you might be poised to unmute yourself, but we have a 404 area code to start. Who's that?
That might be me, Ronna. This is Scott Hodevel, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Great. And Scott, what's one place you'd like to visit?
Oh, gosh. I just had the benefit of visiting. I had a 32nd wedding anniversary trip to Florence, Italy, Switzerland, and Paris. So I feel very fulfilled right now. But I want to go back.
That's great. Thanks, Scott. There's an 8.
You and Megan can share some notes.
Yeah.
There you
exactly.
go.
Yes, no, that'd be great.
There's an 857 area code.
That may be, I may be one of them, but this is Jen Kaczynski
Hi,
at
Jen.
Boston Children's Hospital. Hi, Andrea. I know Tara's on as well, but Jen Kaczynski, I'm the director of special events here, and I want to go to the Grand Canyon.
Ooh, lovely. Okay, Cassie, how about you next?
Hi, sorry I had you on mute. This is Cassie Cavello calling with Children's Minnesota. And if I could go to one place, I think I would go to London.
Ooh, lovely. D. Fisher.
Hi, that would be me. I'm Donna Fisher, and I am the manager of community fundraising events with Riley Children's Foundation in Indianapolis. And if I had one place to go, it would be Alaska, which I'm doing next summer.
Nice.
Lovely. Thank you. How about there's somebody that signed in as CH109900?
That's me. That's Andrea.
Oh, okay, great.
I don't know why it comes up like that, but
we'll fix it. How about X Black W?
Hey, it's Eric Blackwell from Texas Children's in Houston. And one place, I would say South Africa.
Ooh, yeah. Thanks,
I'm
Art.
right there with you.
And Megan Stevers?
That's me. I'm also from St. Louis Children's Hospital.
And where would you like to visit?
I would love to go to Greece.
Ooh, lovely. Thank you. Now, somebody with a 301 area code.
Hi, this is Allison Munoz. I'm with Children's National Hospital. I'd love to go to Florence. And I'm also here with my colleague, Liz Lim, so I'll let her introduce herself as well.
Hi, I'm Austin from Children's with Allison, and I'd love to go to New Zealand.
Oh, yes. Great. Okay, how about a 416 area code?
That could be me. It's Katie McHugh Escobar here at the Kids Foundation in Toronto. And one place I'd really love to go is Hawaii.
Great. Thanks, Katie. How about 816?
That could be me. This is Megan from Children's Mercy here in Kansas City. And I want to go to Italy, all of it. So sign me up.
That's great. Okay, I have a second 857.
That might be Tara Tonello here, also at Boston Children's. I manage the community fundraising program, and a place I would like to visit is Ireland.
Great. Thanks, Tara.
No problem. Happy to be here.
And Catherine. Okay, Catherine, we'll get back to you. How about Erica?
Oh, Catherine wrote that she's in an open office and has no mic.
Oh, okay.
So she's typing her response.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Catherine, welcome from Alberta, and she would love to go to Lisbon. So would I, Catherine.
Ooh.
How about Erica? Erica Logan? Okay, Carrie.
This is Carrie from Cincinnati Children's, and I'm the director of special events. I would love to go to Croatia.
Ooh, I hear the coast is so beautiful.
I've seen pictures, so that's what I'm going for.
And Lauren from Sick Kids.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so I'm supposed to say where I'd like to go. I have on my list somewhere Russia. It's not at the top of the list, but it's on there.
That's great.
I'm also here with Katie McHugh Escobar.
Yeah,
oh,
I already said my
hello.
name. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's somebody on here, CH12772. Okay, that'll be a mystery person. How about M Stock? All right.
Oh, that's Megan from Kansas City again.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm on there twice, I guess.
Thanks, Megan. Great. Well, is there anybody that we missed? Anybody didn't get a chance to share with us where you'd like to go? All right. Well, then, Andrea, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thanks. And thanks everybody. Now there's a few more places I've added to my wish list of places I could go. I just need to win the lottery and I can make a gift to children and then leave without feeling bad. That's kind of the game plan. People like, but I haven't not hit it yet. So anyway, I wanted to just talk about how we had some success transitioning. Oh, this is a funny picture. I almost sent one from my travels, as a matter of fact, but how we transitioned a third-party event over into one of our now peer-to-peer events, which we just had this past April. We saw a 20% growth, and then we are already thinking about planning for next April. And Tara, who's also on the line, who oversees our third-party program, our community events, our community fundraisers. We use a lot of different names. She came about 18 months ago now. The organizer of this event said, would you guys ever be interested in taking this over? And when the organizer initially brought it to us 9 years ago, I remember thinking, why didn't I think about this? The event is called Yoga Reaches Out, and it is a one-day event. And you guys have probably heard me speak about it on a couple different occasions, but when I saw you last, we had literally just gotten through the event, so we were still counting up the donations and kind of recovering when I saw many of you in Kansas City. It's an all-day event of yoga. The beginning is 5 local presenters who spend the morning doing about a 20-minute yoga flow, and then this year we ended with a 15-minute meditation. There's a break for lunch, and then we bring back a national presenter. But what was interesting about all of this is, it was interesting in taking over something somebody else had started. A lot of the framework was there, and she had built quite a community out there in the 8 years prior to her turning this over to us. And what we were able to do, because she was literally, it was her and one other person that was working on this event, is we were able to take a lot of the success she's had and build upon it. And meaning the fact that we were able to bring in, our website and our entire web team, a digital team. Not only did we inherit an already established event that had 800 to 900 people attending, we also inherited an incredibly robust social media channel, specifically called Yoga Reaches Out, with over 10,000 followers on their Facebook page, which is something that we had to think about. Okay, how do we engage with these folks? And, what's that stream going to look like? And what's the messaging going to be? And things along those lines. And beyond even the event day, we've had to even think about all summer, how do we continue to engage these folks? And she also had several thousand people following her on Twitter and a robust Instagram feed as well. So something, I'm not sure if other hospitals deal with this, but we have social media people internally that have to feed into the hospital social media. And so it's kind of sharing the platform is when to promote events, how to promote events on our bigger hospital platform. But we had kind of carte blanche to use the social media pages, how we wanted to use them, and think about what that message is that we wanted to send out to folks and how to keep them engaged leading up to the event. So it proved to be a really amazing tool. And what was interesting about all of this is this was such a different peer-to-peer event in terms of the fact that many of us have done walks and 5Ks and marathons and things along those lines, is that this was a group that we were charging their cards $250, and we saw a very small number not get to that. Many exceeded it, and they were highly engaged. And I know that you guys might have those sorts of successes in your areas, but that's what was really interesting in that fact that we had to create that balance between here comes big Boston Children's to take over the smaller nonprofit. So we had to make sure that a lot of our messaging stayed on brand with what she had been doing in the past, but how do we add our twist to it? How do we make sure that we're messaging about fundraising, but not seeming too heavy-handed or just always talking about the fundraising drumbeat and things along those lines? So it was a lot of interesting takeaways. You know, we are going into FY19 expecting to see another substantial growth. We saw a 20% growth by the time we finished, but it wasn't because a lot of it was because we had just had the resources, but a lot of it was, you know, building upon the success of somebody that had already laid all that foundation for us out there in the community. And as you know, in your various communities, so many people are touched by your hospitals that we just were able to take her great foundation and build upon it and remind folks why they should be fundraising for Boston Children's. Do we think we're quite there with Cycles for Survival? Wouldn't we all love that type of event? Because that started as a third party for Sloan Kettering. I don't think we're going to be in the multi-millions, but our goal is to actually sell out the event this year with 1,200 yogis. We had over 1,000 this year. And then once again, another 20% growth in terms of our fundraising goals and things like that. So that's kind of in a nutshell. I don't know if folks have questions. The one thing I get asked is the person who started the organization is now a consultant for us. So she is still out there helping us recruit people, making sure that the lineup meaning the local presenters are the right folks that are kind of movers and shakers in the Boston area, in the yoga field and things like that. And she has really nice connections out for those national presenters. And we have somebody very exciting coming back for next year.
Andrea, are you still there?
I am.
Oh, good. So did you want to open it up for questions?
Yeah, happy to take questions.
So don't be shy, folks. Anybody who has any questions for Andrea about how this event transferred or some of the more specific details, this is a great time to jump right in. And if you don't have a mic or need to be muted, feel free to chat the question to the group as well.
Hi, Andrea. It's Carrie in Cincinnati. Sorry if I missed this, but how long had the event been in existence before you all partnered, and how did you get that introduction?
The event started 8 years ago, and I remember the introduction because I was there. It was, it's a small world. It was a gentleman, it was his personal trainer, and the gentleman was on our board, and his personal trainer just happened to start floating this idea past him about doing an all-day yoga event, and she had a personal connection many years ago with us. And he says, oh, I'll put you in touch with the right people in the fundraising office. And she came in and told us about the event. And I literally sat there because I practice yoga, and I said, why didn't I come up with this idea? So it was that connection, but it was up until about this time last year where she just handled the entire day-to-day, and we were the beneficiary.
This is Allison from Children's National. I'm wondering, what kind of analysis did you put in pre-taking on this third-party event? Like in terms of, you know, whether this event made sense for you to take in under your portfolio and whether you had the staffing needs to support it. Just curious as to what kind of pre-work went into transitioning it.
Well, a couple of us on staff here had worked with the founder, Sarah, over the many years of the event. I was working with her early on, and then Tara, who oversees our community fundraising program, worked with her for the last couple of years. So she was very transparent in the number of folks that she was bringing to the event, you know, the number of people. She was averaging, I think at the peak, 850 people. We also knew, because Tara or myself, we would attend the committee meetings, so we knew kind of the expense to put the event on, and we came right out and asked those questions when she started talking to us about it. You know, how much does it cost? What do you see as the growth opportunities and things like that? She was very honest. She felt she had gotten the event to as far as she could take it, and really felt that having the right charity behind it could make it even larger. So we knew kind of what her database looked like in terms of the potential number of new donors, new participants, folks new to the hospital, and in terms of staffing, I do have 2 people that work on it as well as myself. And like I said, Sarah, the original founder, is out there helping us to recruit new yoga studios and talk to presenters and things along those lines.
Thanks. May I just, yes, certainly. And then in terms of bringing her on as a consultant, you're not using the word volunteer. So is that sort of like a part-time position that you're kind of working with her as?
Yeah, she's in a paid role as a consultant. And that was part of what we actually had to do, because she was her own 501c3. We had to actually absorb her organization into our organization, which allowed us to take over the name Yoga Reaches Out and things along those lines. And part of that, when she came to us with the offer, is that she asked if she could stay on in the consulting role more, so that she wasn't in the nitty gritty of planning the event, but more doing the outreach and building the name out in the community for us.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else, folks? If there are questions, first of all, you can check out our website at yogareachesout.org if you just want to kind of see what the day looks like. I don't believe there is another fundraising event of this type out there. We've been working with our consultant, Charity Dynamics, to do some benchmarking, and they haven't found anything that runs in this sort of same event, which makes it unique and fun. But you also all have my email, so if you have any questions, you can reach out.
Hi there, it's Lauren from Toronto. Would you mind stating the website again?
yogareachesout.org.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
All right, should we head into the group conversation if there aren't any more questions? This is Megan with St. Louis Children's Hospital. First off, thank you for sharing, Andrea, and congrats to you and your team. That's amazing success. And if anybody else out there has a success story that they would like to share, I think moving forward, we'd love to highlight different shops and the successes that you have, so keep that in mind. As Andrea and I were preparing for this call, we went over the list that we made at the Woodmark Summit of different topics we want to talk about. And I know off of that, there was like a spin-off, a third party, which I think is amazing that those calls are still going on. But we were talking about how we all play different events we all play different roles within events. Our cohort's kind of unique in that we all do different things or manage different parts of events. So there's fundraising events, stewardship events, you think board, third party, turnkey, community. Some, the events team holds sponsorship, some don't. And so when we were thinking through all of that, we were thinking that all of us do have to collaborate with other departments within our foundations or shops. And so, you know, we just wanted to throw out the collaboration and how do you guys collaborate with frontline fundraisers? Something that we're working on in St. Louis is just that, is making sure that our processes that we have in place are streamlined, and we're always taking into account the fact that our gift officers are stewarding these people all year, and we want to take exceptional care of them as well when they come to our events. So I wanted to throw that out as a question or a topic that we could possibly discuss, or if anybody else has any ideas or questions about collaboration or working inter-departments, or has any advice or thinks that they do that really well, that maybe they could be a spotlight on one of these calls. So I want to throw that out to the group. Anyone have any, does anyone think that they collaborate particularly well, or they have a specific process in place when it comes to, say, playing or doing the invitation list or the mailings or follow-ups, roles at the event for gift officers?
This is Scott in Atlanta. I don't know that we do it exceptionally well by any means, but you know, my event people, we do our best to share with the gift officers, you know, RSVP lists in advance, copies of the invitation when they go out, so they know that, you know, their people might be sent this. For some of our really big events, we might even get together pre-meeting and discuss, you know, strategies for getting folks introduced. If an event person knows someone that a gift officer needs to meet, we'll get our prospect research team involved at times. And again, that's just for some of the really select large events. We do a lot of events, so we certainly can't do it at every one, but we try to have, you know, we try to provide seats when we can for gift officers. Oftentimes we have events that are sold out, or, you know, it's cost prohibitive working with volunteers to try to give staff seats. So we might say, hey, come to the pre-reception, mix and mingle. If a seat opens, we'll slide you in. If not, go home and enjoy your family. But at least you've gotten to come and, you know, meet your donor and spend a little bit of time. So we just have those kinds of tactics in place in advance of events to make gift officers feel as though this is a tool, the event is a tool they can use to cultivate their donor. Does anybody else do that stuff or have better ideas? I'm really trying to learn more what others are doing.
This is Andrea. This is Megan in Kansas City. Yeah, we work hand in hand with our major gift team at our signature events and fundraisers and stuff. So our gala, for example, we strategically place people in the room, knowing who their donors are, whether they are current donors or prospective donors or stuff like that. So we have a lot of that cross collaboration with our major gift team, do a lot of pre-meetings and stuff like that.
I'm curious, do you find that your major gift people still clamor for more information and inclusivity?
Yeah, they love information of any kind at all times, and work at a different pace than we do usually.
Yeah, we struggle at times to keep them happy, to be blunt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't want to think that they're not happy, but there's definitely a different approach to prioritizing tasks before an event, I guess I will say.
Yep.
But we love having them in the room. We love having them as the frontline fundraisers, talking with those major donors that are at our gala or our walk or whatnot. So
do you include the gift officers? Sometimes some of the challenges we have along the way in this situation is a gift officer has a strong relationship with let's say someone who's an actual chair of an event, and they want to get involved in the logistics and details and be in all the meetings, and it sometimes gets cumbersome to try to include them. I mean, we want to include them. We want them to attend. We want them to know what's going on, but we don't put an action in Razor's Edge for the 62 times we meet with the chair during the year for their, that's their donor. And we catch flack for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, we also don't do that. I think that goes back to just on the team of what our needs are. Our major gift officers are often involved when we're selecting chairs. They're part of that process.
Yep. Us too, and they can be really helpful.
They understand that our strength is the logistics of the event and working with the groups in that way, and we understand that their talents come in with the big ask and the circulating and things like that. So there's definitely we have a good partnership, I would say, and I think they would agree as well.
I think we do as well, and I'm just always looking for new ideas of what others may be doing to include gift officers in the event world.
Yeah, we have to set boundaries sometimes. There's always a big note above our seating chart that says, do not touch a Post-it note until you come and talk to the events team, that kind of thing, which I'm sure everybody deals with. But for the most part, we all work really well together. So.
Right, yeah, we've definitely used the gift officers to help us select future chairs for some of our signature events, and to be part of those asks, and that's been definitely a good partnership. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Scott and Megan, thank you both. That was a great conversation. A question I have for the both of you, this is Megan again from St. Louis, as a follow-up is, you mentioned sharing RSVP lists and Razor's Edge. Do you all use the events module in Razor's Edge for your events?
Oh goodness, we are full of training for that right now. So
are you? Okay.
We are not using it, and we are trying to make a move to use it better and just finding ways to, which I'm sure you guys have experienced too. It's not the best for tracking our needs and what we need to pull from it and things like that. So we're kind of have a new look and feel to our operations team that's tackling the database and trying to figure out how to use it.
Yeah, same exact situation in Atlanta. Haven't figured out exactly how to use it to the best of our benefit yet.
So we're doing the same thing in St. Louis, and what we found is very similar, Megan, to what you just said, is that it's not necessarily the most user-friendly for us as event leads, but it is, however, for our partners in the gift team. And so trying to play a role in that partnership and doing better at using it is what we're doing too. I'd be interested to see if anyone uses it really well or another technology to help with the collaboration. No. All right, well, Scott and Megan, I might circle back with you both on that and see how your trials are going with that process.
Yeah, definitely.
Did anyone else have something they wanted to add? Also, we could even switch to like the corporate team as well, and the partnership and collaboration with getting sponsorships and making sure that we are doing our best, making sure that all the sponsorship is fulfilled and also hitting those sponsorship goals. Does anyone else on the call handle event sponsorships out of their events team, or is it mainly through the corporate team?
This is Carrie from Cincinnati. So the corporate team in regards to event sponsorship is the same as our special events team. So we are all one big happy family.
Okay, awesome. That's good to know. And I know I saw the agenda for the corporate call, which I think is right after this one, and they're actually talking about event sponsorship. So just a little plug for them.
And this is Allison at Children's National. We work collaboratively with our corporate team as well as our MGOs to make sure everyone's in the loop on sponsorship, but our events team does take the lead in tracking and sharing those income reports.
Oh, great.
So Catherine in Alberta is saying that their community initiatives team does sponsors as well as working with major gifts when their donors are involved. So she's chatting to us. So Catherine, this is Rana. Your community initiatives team, is that another term for an events team, or is that separate from your team that does events? And while we're getting Catherine's answer, oh, we do events and we work with Children's Miracle Network. Great. Thanks, Catherine. What about others? What are some of the bumps in the road when it comes to making sure that everybody is working together on sponsorship? What have you experienced that you're still trying to create a better system or tool for?
Well, this is Andrea from Boston. You know, we work very collaboratively with our sponsorship team. I think the biggest thing is with one of our events this summer, they were having really great success in terms of selling it, but then they were coming back and it's like, okay, what else can we sell? And not that we don't want to raise the funds, but sometimes it's getting them to understand you can probably oversell so that then the execution of that particular item doesn't look as good or as well thought out as we would like as event people. So I think some of that is like, okay, let's just go out and sell as much as we can, but not thinking about the budget implications and everything else. Because in my world, the corporate piece of the signage and the banners and all the execution lives in my budget. So sometimes it's just keeping those lines of communications open instead of just like, yep, so-and-so is interested, we're going to do this. And then you guys can make sure it happens, which I'm sure you've all had.
Are there any other? That's a great point, Andrea. Anybody else have a topic that they would either like to discuss now or on another call or offline?
This is Marcy at Woodmark. I just was noticing that Catherine added to her comments through the chat saying we sometimes find that the sense of urgency is definitely different. Also having those that don't work with events, sometimes considering that is an extra ask for an existing donor instead of thinking of an event sponsorship as an opportunity for the sponsor as well. Thank you for that, Catherine.
So do others find that as well, where maybe your corporate team is reluctant to have some of those corporations approached for sponsorships if they're already giving in a different way? And how do you handle that if that's true?
This is Scott in Atlanta. I mean, that's always, the fundraiser's concern is, are we tapping the well too many times? So we just try to, our corporate teams and our event teams are linked pretty closely. We're trying to kind of sell the full menu of children's opportunities, and whether an event person is in talking to someone about an event sponsorship, but might be able to share a little bit about workplace giving, and vice versa. The corporate group might be in talking about, who knows what from a corporate standpoint, but they might realize, well, this group is more interested in, golf or whatever it might be, or a gala. So I think we just have built a good camaraderie between the teams. We make sure that credit is shared, and we don't get hung up in credit battles, so that folks want to work together, and ultimately, the good of the whole doesn't matter where the company gets involved, as long as we get them involved. And the best ones are the ones that do workplace giving, make a straight corporate gift, and buy a table at the gala.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I have to ask, you said something about that you share credit. Is that just share credit within the office, or is it actually, have you figured out a way to do that in Razor's Edge, or in our case, we use CRM? This is Andrea from Boston.
I definitely know what you're speaking of, because we do that a lot with our major gift officers, more in the individual world. Our event people don't have, a revenue solicitation goal per se. Some of our corporate people do, not all. So we haven't had to get in the weeds of trying to figure out how to share credit in Razor's Edge with those groups. That definitely comes into play more on the individual side, when we're sharing credit between gift officers, or between, an event person that helps sell a sponsorship. Do they still get credit? And we've tried to work that out so that the major gift person can get some solicitation credit if they sell a gala table.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing struggle up here.
And it has with us too. And we're by no means perfect. Credit issues in the individual team are. I've been in this a few years. I think they're just part of life, gang.
Yeah. Well, because in Boston, the events I oversee are all fundraisers, and my folks have a revenue line, but then we have our stewardship folks that are often working with the major gift folks in terms of stewardship type of events and donor relations. So they don't have a revenue line.
Right. Yeah, it can be challenging. Our event folks don't have individual revenue lines, but they certainly have a collective goal for an event area or an event itself. And so, we want to make sure everyone's feeling good about it, but it's not a perfect system.
Any other last minute questions for the group? Well, I have to say I appreciate the conversation that we've heard between how to better collaborate with each other, and maybe some processes that are in place. So I know personally I'll be trying to circle back with a couple of you to dig a little deeper. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you for leading.
So as a wrap up, and we're going to give you guys a couple minutes back, which I think is always good. I know Boston tries to end meetings 10 minutes early, which I love. So next call is not until December. So between now and then, if you guys have any topics come up, or if you're talking with anybody else across your organizations that have ideas or questions or success stories, please send them our way, and we look forward to talking to you then. And again, thank you to Andrea for presenting your success story, and to Rana and Marcy for all of your help.
Thank you, Megan. This is Rana, and I just want to let you all know a quick announcement. The new version of We, which many of you have helped to test and been some beta users of, is going live in about a week and a half. And so be looking for that. We are excited to have you join us on this platform that is a little more 21st century, and we think it'll be a great place for you to connect with each other and get answers to some of the questions that come up for you in your day-to-day work. So more on that very soon. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great
Take care.
week,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.